The Springboks are not just winning matches, they are building something that could redefine international rugby. As the Southern Hemisphere leg of the 2026 Nations Championship comes to a close, one question stands above all the rest: has Rassie Erasmus created the deepest and most dangerous Springbok squad in history? With 3 dominant victories, a wave of exciting new talent, and experienced stars continuing to deliver at the highest level, South Africa has once again reminded the rugby world why they remain the team everyone is chasing. Yet, despite the perfect record and impressive scorelines, Rassie Erasmus has already made it clear that he is far from satisfied. That relentless pursuit of improvement may be the biggest reason why the Springboks continue to set the standard in world rugby. Entering the 2026 season, expectations could hardly have been higher. Fresh from winning the 2025 Rugby Championship and completing another unbeaten end-of-year tour that included victories over Japan, France, Italy, Ireland, and Wales, the back-to-back Rugby World Cup champions carried tremendous momentum into a season that could shape their path toward Australia 2027. Alongside their Nations Championship campaign, South Africa also faces the massive challenge of hosting the All Blacks in a historic 4-match rivalry series, making every selection, every experiment, and every performance critically important. But instead of relying solely on proven veterans, Rassie Erasmus has continued doing what has become his trademark: backing new players without sacrificing results. The opening chapter of the Nations Championship perfectly reflected that philosophy. 3 tests against 3 different opponents produced 3 different starting lineups, yet the outcome never changed. South Africa scored an incredible 130 points, crossed the try line 19 times, conceded only 49 points, and collected maximum bonus point victories in every fixture. Those numbers alone tell an impressive story, but they don't fully capture what happened behind the scenes. The campaign began after an emphatic warm-up victory over the Barbarians before England arrived at Ellis Park. Despite late withdrawals involving Eben Etzebeth and Siya Kolisi, many wondered whether the Springboks would struggle without 2 of their most influential leaders. Instead, South Africa delivered one of their most complete attacking performances in recent memory, overwhelming England with 7 tries in a commanding 42-28 victory. It was powerful, clinical, and ruthless, the type of performance that reminded everyone why this team sits at the summit of world rugby. Then came perhaps the boldest gamble of the tournament. Against Scotland at Loftus Versfeld, Rassie Erasmus made 10 changes to his starting 15 and selected a matchday squad containing 13 players with fewer than 10 international caps. Facing an experienced Scottish side, many expected the youngsters to be exposed. Instead, they answered every question with courage and determination, producing another 6-try performance to secure yet another 42-28 victory. While Rassie Erasmus later admitted that not every experiment delivered the desired result, the bigger picture remained overwhelmingly positive. Young players gained invaluable test experience, several enhanced their reputations, and South Africa proved that their depth extends far beyond their established stars. The experimentation continued against Wales in Durban, where an astonishing 18 changes were made to the matchday 23. Durban's humid conditions have often produced messy contests filled with handling errors, and while this encounter followed that familiar pattern, the Springboks still completely dominated proceedings. South Africa shut Wales out entirely, keeping them scoreless while piling on 43 unanswered points in another emphatic display. It wasn't always beautiful rugby, but it demonstrated something arguably more important: this squad can adapt, grind out victories, and still overwhelm quality opposition regardless of the conditions or personnel on the field. Throughout the campaign, several individuals stood above the rest. Pieter-Steph du Toit once again proved why he remains one of rugby's greatest competitors. After limited club rugby in Japan, there were questions about whether he would quickly regain top form. Those doubts disappeared almost immediately. Whether playing at flank or lock, captaining the side in the absence of Siya Kolisi, dominating the line-out, or covering every blade of grass with his relentless work rate, Pieter-Steph du Toit delivered performances worthy of a 2-time World Rugby Player of the Year. Equally impressive was Jesse Kriel, whose remarkable consistency continues to silence critics. Starting every test, scoring in every match, and reaching the milestone of his 90th Springbok appearance, Jesse Kriel demonstrated that leadership extends far beyond words. His defensive organisation remained exceptional, while his attacking contributions made him South Africa's leading try scorer during the competition. Alongside him, Damian Williams reminded everyone why his versatility is such a priceless weapon. Outstanding at fullback against England, equally effective at inside centre against Scotland, and influential off the bench against Wales, he showcased the flexibility that gives Rassie Erasmus countless tactical options. Among the newcomers, perhaps no player captured attention more than Paul de Villiers. The hard-working Stormers forward embraced Test rugby with remarkable confidence, improving in every appearance and looking increasingly comfortable against elite opposition. Fellow rising stars including Zachary Porthen, Carlu Sadie, Jocko Williams, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, and Cobus Wies all grabbed their opportunities, while Jasper Wies reinforced his position as South Africa's first-choice number 8 with another series of commanding displays. Veteran hooker Malcolm Marx also carried his outstanding form into another international campaign, providing the experience and consistency that continues to anchor the forward pack.
The Springboks are sending a warning to the rugby world, and it may be louder than ever before. 3 matches, 3 convincing victories, a flood of tries, and a squad overflowing with talent have left one question hanging over international rugby: are Rassie Erasmus and the Springboks entering another golden era just 1 year before the Rugby World Cup? While other nations continue searching for consistency, South Africa appears to have discovered something even more valuable: an almost endless supply of world-class players capable of stepping into the green and gold jersey without missing a beat. That incredible depth has become the biggest success story of the 2026 Nations Championship so far. Yet, in classic Rassie Erasmus fashion, even after another flawless campaign, the legendary coach refuses to celebrate too early. Instead, he has focused on the small imperfections that still need fixing. It is this relentless drive for improvement that continues to separate the Springboks from everyone else, and it is exactly why rivals across the rugby world have every reason to be concerned. Entering the 2026 international season, South Africa already carried enormous confidence. The Springboks had finished 2025 in spectacular fashion by lifting the Rugby Championship trophy and completing another unbeaten end-of-year tour, defeating Japan, France, Italy, Ireland, and Wales. Every major challenge placed in front of them had been overcome, and belief inside the camp had never been stronger. But 2026 represents far more than simply defending their status as the world's best team. This season is laying the foundation for an unprecedented attempt to win a 3rd consecutive Rugby World Cup in Australia next year, a feat no nation has ever achieved. Added to that is the pressure of the inaugural Nations Championship and an eagerly anticipated 4-test rivalry series against the All Blacks, including 3 massive clashes in South Africa and another blockbuster encounter in the United States. Every match matters. Every selection matters. Every experiment could shape the future of South African rugby. That is precisely why Rassie Erasmus has refused to stand still. Instead of selecting his strongest possible lineup every week, he has continued building for the future by giving opportunities to fresh faces while still demanding victory. It is a risky strategy that many coaches simply would not dare attempt, but for Rassie Erasmus, it has become one of his greatest strengths. The numbers alone tell an extraordinary story. Across 3 Nations Championship tests, the Springboks collected 3 bonus point victories, scored an astonishing 19 tries, accumulated 130 points, and conceded only 49. Even more impressive was the fact that each victory came with a different team sheet, proving that South Africa is no longer dependent on a single group of established stars. The campaign began with a dominant warm-up victory over the Barbarians before attention shifted toward England at Ellis Park in Johannesburg. Although England had endured a disappointing 6 Nations campaign, everyone understood they still possessed enough quality to cause problems. Matters became even more complicated when South Africa lost Eben Etzebeth and Siya Kolisi shortly before kick-off through injury. For most international teams, losing 2 iconic leaders would have created uncertainty. For the Springboks, it simply created another opportunity for someone else to step forward. What followed was a breathtaking display of attacking rugby. South Africa crossed for 7 tries in a thrilling 42-28 victory that showcased power, pace, precision, and confidence. Their forwards dominated collisions, their backs attacked with freedom, and England simply could not match the intensity generated by the home side. It was the perfect start to the campaign, but the biggest test was still to come. Against Scotland at Loftus Versfeld, Rassie Erasmus shocked the rugby world by making 10 changes to his starting lineup. 13 members of the matchday squad had fewer than 10 test caps, and many observers questioned whether the coach had taken too great a gamble against an experienced Scottish side. Yet this match represented something much bigger than simply chasing another victory. It was an examination of South Africa's future. Could these inexperienced players perform under genuine international pressure? Could they maintain the standards expected of the Springbok jersey? The answer arrived emphatically. South Africa once again scored 6 tries and secured another convincing 42-28 victory. While Rassie Erasmus openly admitted afterward that not every player reached the level he expected, the overall experiment proved to be a major success. Valuable lessons were learned, confidence was built, and the squad became even stronger heading into the challenges ahead. If there were still any doubts about the depth available to South Africa, they disappeared completely 1 week later against Wales. This time, Rassie Erasmus made an astonishing 18 changes to his matchday 23, almost presenting an entirely different team. Durban's humid conditions once again produced handling mistakes and scrappy rugby, but the Springboks adapted beautifully. They completely shut Wales out of the contest, refusing to concede a single point while running in 43 of their own. It was another reminder that championship-winning teams are not judged solely by how brilliantly they attack but also by how ruthlessly they defend. Across all 3 tests, South Africa demonstrated both qualities in abundance. Several players elevated themselves throughout the series. Pieter-Steph du Toit once again delivered performances worthy of his legendary reputation. Despite limited club rugby before the international season, he looked as energetic as ever, captaining the team in the absence of Siya Kolisi, switching seamlessly between lock and flank, dominating defensive exchanges, controlling the lineout, and covering enormous distances around the field. His work ethic remains almost impossible to match. Alongside him, Jesse Kriel continued one of the finest periods of his international career. Once unfairly questioned by sections of the Springbok fan base, he has now become one of the team's most dependable leaders.